Chapter 21. The End.
They rode back to Taylor's apartment. They walked into the apartment. A message waited for him. Taylor hit the button and a voice came over the speaker that he would have never thought. Even Tricia immediately looked over. "Taylor, this is Trent. We must speak. I know you are back and I have more details about Scott. When you receive this, please come speak to me. I am staying at my home in the valley." "Dag." The machine cut off. Tricia said, turning on her heel. They were out to the bikes and on the road in a moment. They rode at great speed to Thoraine's home. They pulled in and walked up to the door. The door opened before they got all the way to it, and Thoraine smiled at the other side. "Taylor, it is good to see you. And you must be Tricia." Come, Thoraine said. They walked into the house. They sat in the living area. "First, let me say, when I said go experience vampire life, I may not have meant take over a city." Thoraine smiled. Taylor started to argue, but Thoraine waved him to wait. "It is the most good the vampires have seen in a long time. There is quite a buzz about you, young man, and more that want to meet you." "Not to be rude, but what do you know about Scott?" Taylor asked. "Not rude at all. I'm sorry. From what I've found out, Tiffany and Amy were walking home and were attacked. Scott found them in the middle of the attack. He killed the two attackers and killed them. Tiffany and Amy were gravely injured. He drank the other two bodies dry, and that is about all I know." "Well, we have to find Scott now that Tiffany and Amy are gone. I'm all he has," Taylor said, tears rising in his eyes. Tricia laid a comforting hand on his shoulder. "Taylor, Tiffany and Amy are not gone. They are alive," Thoraine replied. "But how can they be? They were mortally injured," Tricia asked. "Scott converted them. He bit into their spines, but since their bodies were damaged, it took longer for them to heal and rebuild their body system. Scott, I assume, thought it did not work because he left." Thoraine paused. "Do you know where they are?" Taylor asked. "Not exactly, but I have some information that places them in southern Utah," Thoraine replied. "That would make sense. They grew up down there," Taylor replied. "So they don't know anything about what they are?" Tricia asked. "No, I'm afraid they don't." "I can't even imagine what that would be like," Tricia said, shaking her head. "Nor can I," Thoraine added. They spoke for more than 2 hours. Finally, Taylor and Tricia went to Taylor's apartment. Taylor sat on his couch and let the last few weeks roll over him. Tricia was rumbling around and came back with a joint. She sat next to him on the couch. "You all right?" she asked. "Worried," Taylor said. "It'll all work out," Tricia said. She lit the joint, took a hit, and passed it to Taylor. She blew out the smoke. "Scott will come around after Tiffany and Amy come back," Tricia replied. Taylor had taken a hit and was holding it. He spoke through it. "What makes you think that they will come back?" Taylor asked. "Well, that one's easy. We have to go get 'em," Tricia said. "What about Ashley?" "They'll be okay. Taylor, one thing I could tell about you very quickly is that you are special, and I've heard it already more times than I would like to say. Anyone who meets you says that about you," Tricia said, and took another hit. "What does that have to do with it?" "A lot," Tricia said, blowing out the smoke. "The guys in LA are a piece of the puzzle, and from what Thoraine said tonight, probably a small piece. You were meant for bigger things. You will not be able to stay in LA and finish that fight, nor will you be able to stay with Scott, for however long it will take him to get over his bloodlust. You will probably have another emergency and another, but you will take the major role in solving the problem. Think about it. You came into LA and not even a week, you were changing lives forever." Even Thoraine said that the vampire world had not moved this quickly in a long time, Tricia said. Taylor buried his head in his hands. "Why me?" he asked. "Maybe we can answer that question down the road," Tricia replied. "But one thing I know for sure," Tricia said, smiling. "You're going to have a hard time getting rid of me." She leaned over and gave him a kiss. "I'm going to need you by my side," Taylor said. They kissed again and sat on the couch and talked night into morning.